What's up, guys, and welcome to the Raw preview of the 5th of January Raw, the first Raw of 2015. I'm joined by guest stars from various channels. They can either introduce themselves and their channel if they want to. If they don't want to introduce their channel, they have to. If they do introduce their channel, the channel will be in the description, so you can go subscribe to all their channels. Make sure you subscribe to the brand new channel, which I think is probably going to be called WWE Talk Cam. That sounds a bit gay, but we'll go with it. So we'll start with Lyle. Introduce yourself. What's your name, Lyle?
Hi guys, my name's Lyle, as you just said. I run the Drum Roster 12 channel. Boom.
Next one along the line, which for me is Alex.
Hey guys, I'm Alex. I run the Nutman channel.
Harry.
That's nice. I'm Harry. I run Harry Vlogs, and I'm the only proper vlogger.
A proper vlogger who's uploaded 4 times. Anyway, we're out here to talk about that. Their channels will be down in the description below if you want to subscribe to them. We've got various topics to talk about Raw, the first one of the year, which commonly means something average happens. We'll start with the simple topic, actually the rather large topic. Last week on Raw, you all saw it, the Authority is back. Is it back in power? I read somewhere today that said that John Cena brought the Authority back. We didn't actually bring them back to power. Surely the Authority are going to be in power. And we'll start again with Lyle. What do you expect from the Authority tonight? Do you expect another half an hour Triple H promo to begin the show? Is that what we got to expect tonight?
Yes, yeah, I think that's definitely what we'll have to expect, because in Triple H's mind, he's brought the Authority back to do exactly what they were doing before, and yeah, he's just gonna make life hell again, I suppose.
I think, and sorry, I'm butting in, but I think he's gonna punish Ziggler, Rowan. Who else is in Team Cena? Obviously Cena. Who's Ryback as well. I think there's going to be some sort of punishment for them tonight. And I hope there isn't a way, otherwise I think this Raw could be... I think this Raw's going to be good, though, looking at it. But anyway, Alex, what do you reckon is going to happen with the Authority tonight?
I think that they are going to be back in power because the WWE writers aren't clever enough to say, oh, we only brought them back to do something or other. So I think they're going to come back, and then I think, and this may be a long shot, but I think they're going to feud with Sting? Maybe?
Yeah.
I think.
So do you expect to see Sting tonight?
Tonight, no.
No.
At some point in the future, yes.
I tell you when I think Sting will come. I totally agree with what you're saying. I think Triple H Sting is going to happen. I think it will happen the night after Royal Rumble. They're going to kick off the road to WrestleMania. They're going to bring Sting back. Everybody's going to be like, oh my god, the road to WrestleMania is going to be brilliant. The next week on Raw, Sting doesn't bloody show up and everybody's like, oh, this is crap again. So that's what I think they're going to do. But I agree with what you're saying, but I don't expect to see Sting tonight. Harry, Authority, what's going to happen tonight?
I can see it starting off same old, you know, the old heel, but I can see at some point either Randy Orton or maybe the Authority making a face turn at some point just to switch up the story a bit. I can still see Triple H and Sting, but you know,
So
I feel like, well, as Triple H and Sting goes, they're going to have to deal with the limited appearance of Sting because he's not on that kind of contract. He's on a limited appearance contract.
But they could do that because they do that well with Lesnar. I don't. There's no doubt in my mind that they'll be alright with that.
Yeah.
You mentioned Orton there. What, you're expecting Randy the Viper Orton to return tonight on the first episode of 2015?
No, actually, I expect him to come back at the Royal Rumble.
See, this is the big thing, because for me, he either returns tonight or the Royal Rumble. If he returns in between, it's just bizarre. I'd quite like to see him tonight, because I think that would... Because they usually bring someone back on the first episode of Raw of 2015. Because if you look back in the past, Lesnar, I think, came back on the first episode of 2013. I can't remember what happened in 2014. But there's usually something massive that happens on the first episode. But I don't know. I actually expect Randy Orton to come back. Moving on to a kind of minor topic. Bad News Barrett. What do we expect for him? Not just tonight on Raw, but he obviously came back. We're from the UK. I like Bad News Barrett. I think he's great. I think he is a potential main eventer in the future, not necessarily now. What do you expect? Do you expect him in another squash match tonight? Do you expect him to continue that feud with Cesaro? Is it not a feud? What the hell's Bad News Barrett got in line, do you think?
Yeah, is this me? Or is it?
Yeah, it can go you last one.
Okay. Well, I might have recorded it past it, but I have heard stuff that I reckon they'll just go out straight out Cesaro Barrett feud.
I think that'd be great. I honestly think that'd be brilliant.
Cesaro hasn't really done much, and he's such a good superstar. He needs to get in some sort of feud with someone.
Mm.
And who better to do it than with Barrett?
I think they're great wrestlers. I think the match they had in Raw, although it was too short for my liking, but that's WWE's fault. It flowed really well. It was a really enjoyable match. I actually really enjoyed the match. It was back. I thought it was a really good match. So I think that feud could go a long way. But like someone said last week, both Bad News Barrett and Cesaro need to win. They need to get a push. So if you put them in a feud together, that means that one of them's going to lose it, which means it's not going to look good for one of them. But I don't know. Alex, what's your thoughts on Bad News Barrett?
I want him to get more of a push, like you said. I want him to not necessarily be main eventing or something, but I want him to be at least in it, because he's a lot better than his character.
Yeah.
He's much better than his character, and I don't think he'll feud with Cesaro. I don't know, I think he'll go on to regain the Intercontinental Championship. That's what I think.
That would be a good match at Mania. Bad News Barrett Ziggler, if Ziggler's going to hold the Intercontinental Championship till then. Harry, quick word on Bad News Barrett.
Well, I've actually got some good news. I can feel like he's got Intercontinental Championship, another one at least, in him until he pushes on for more championships in the future. But I can feel him going on a good run with the Intercontinental Championship at one point. So yeah.
The weird thing though with that, and I will just quickly touch on it, and I don't know whether any of you three picked it up on it, but it was almost like I don't know whether he kind of returned as a face to face Cesaro as kind of a heel. Cesaro then kind of mid-match turned into a face stroke heel, and Bad News Barrett kind of turned into a face as heel stroke thing as well. I thought it was really weird last week, but I don't know what to expect with that. Another one quickly, the Ascension. Simple yes or no question. Have you been impressed with their couple of matches that they've had? Lyle, we'll start with you.
No.
Alex?
It's just been easy to win. They need to go up against someone who's going to show them who's who, like the Usos or someone like that.
See, I thought...
And then that will be a good match.
I thought what they were going to do with the Ascension was they were going to debut them, like many people thought. They were either going to interfere in the Tag Team Championship match last week, which was a great match, by the way, or they were going to let that come over, and then they were going to attack the Usos after, starting a feud with the Usos for the championship. None of that happened, and who did they face? MIZDOW and Sandow, and they absolutely squashed them, which means that, you know, at the start of the night, they came into Raw as the Tag Team Champions. They ended up, at the end of Raw, having no championship and being squashed by the Ascension, who have come from NXT, which seemed a bit bizarre for me, which I think means that the Miz and Sandow are going to obviously split and hopefully have a WrestleMania match, which I'd like to see, but we'll talk about that a bit later. But moving on to Alex, have you been that impressed with the Ascension?
I haven't, no, because, and I know a lot of people in the comments are going to say that I'm just assuming this, but I think they're too close to the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors.
A lot of people have said that.
I agree, yes.
I saw them cut a promo on Raw, and they were like, oh, we're the Ascension. Oh, shut up.
But there was some thing, I don't know where it was, something where they explained something like that. I don't know what it is, which is kind of bad, because it would, I don't know how to explain it. Pete will probably say it down in the comments below, if you know what I'm talking about, because I don't know what I'm talking about, tell me down in the comments below. Harry, Ascension, impressed, not impressed?
I feel like they're shoving them down their throats already. I know they're trying to make the tag team division more interesting, but like, I don't want having another tag team shoved down their throat. And like Alex said, they're exactly like the Legion of Doom.
You see, they weren't on NXT. They've seemed to have changed their gimmick again. I like the Ascension. I think they could revolutionise the tag team division, which is absolutely boring, because I think the Usos are shockingly boring. Their matches for me now are terribly boring. Although they had a good match last week, and I'm kind of contradicting myself, but I'm not really into the Usos. I quite like the Ascension. They're a decent tag team. They don't necessarily have the look thingy. I think it's Connor, is it? He's quite chubby. He doesn't necessarily have the look, but they've got good chemistry with each other. As I think it might have been Alex said, they need to wrestle against a team that has a caliber like the Usos, and then who knows with the Ascension. We'll move on from the Ascension, leave it down the comments below. It's a very split in the middle debate about the Ascensions. I hope they do something tonight, and I hope they're not facing nobodies like they did on SmackDown, because there's just no point. Absolutely no point in having them smash someone.
I have one thing to add.
Yeah.
You know their theme?
Hmm.
It's got the eyes.
The eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are. The nickname is the Illuminati Warriors. There's something to do with the Illuminati.
I suppose we better not quickly, but talk about what is, you would think, the main event of Raw tonight. The first ever in the history of the WWE ambulance match, can't even say it, live on Raw. Now, the last ambulance match we had in the WWE was at, test me brain here, Over the Limit with John Cena Kane. It might not have been Over the Limit, but I think it was.
It was, yeah.
Can't really remember that match, to be honest. I can remember watching it, and I know Cena won, as he always bloody does. But what do you expect from this match tonight? Are you looking forward to it? Are you not looking forward to it? What do you think of the whole feud? Again, we'll start with Lyle. Fire away.
I think I'm blooming looking forward to this match. It's the first one ever on Raw. This match will be the match to end the feud with Wyatt and Ambrose. That's what I think. And can I say who's going to win?
Yeah, we can do a prediction, yeah. We'll all do a prediction.
I think Wyatt will win. I just think there's got to be that one final twist and that weird thing of just happenings.
I'd love to see the Wyatts come back tonight. The Wyatt family come back. I know that won't happen because of what happened with Rowan on SmackDown, but wouldn't that just be brilliant? Or would it not? I suppose I just want to see the Wyatts back. I'm a bit pathetic like that. But anyway, Alex.
I think if Bray Wyatt doesn't win, it'll be a rubbish match. Because Bray Wyatt from the start was meant to be this immensely awesome, powerful guy that could wrestle superbly, even though he was just Husky Harris. And he just seems to have gotten worse. Like, his run with the Wyatt family against the Shield, those few matches that they had were amazing. And so I think if he doesn't win this match, people are going to start to forget about him. Because his character's getting a bit stale. And
if he's going to be doing this feud, that is heavily rumoured, although I don't think it will happen because I don't think Undertaker's going to be at Mania. But if they do the feud with Wyatt Undertaker, Wyatt has to win tonight against Ambrose. Otherwise, how's he going in against The Undertaker and expected to win? The logic there would just be bizarre. If that's what they're doing, Wyatt has to win tonight. Who do you think's going to win, though, Alex?
I think the winner is going to be I want it to be Dean Ambrose, but I think it will be Bray Wyatt.
Right.
Because you're quite right. If Wyatt wins, he's got a lot more chance of fighting The Undertaker, which would be, don't get me wrong, it'd be a great match. But the thing is, the mind games alone would just be brilliant. But I would much rather see a possibility of Sting versus Taker than Wyatt versus Taker.
Right. Harry, quick mention on Ambrose thingy and your prediction for tonight's match. Are you looking forward to it? Or do you think, oh my god, I'm going to fast forward it?
It's an interesting match, don't get me wrong. It's just that I feel like we've had too much of this feud, and, they can't really win with it. Because if they are doing the feud, like you said, between Taker and Wyatt, then they've got to make Wyatt look strong. But for future feuds for Ambrose, they've got to make Ambrose look strong, and he can't really lose. So I don't get what they're going to do with that. So
prediction though on who's going to win?
Wyatt, though, because they've got to make him look strong enough for Taker.
So you three, well, you two, especially Alex and you, Harry, you genuinely believe that it's going to be Taker Wyatt at Mania? Harry's froze. Which is my thoughts on the match itself. I'm actually looking forward to it. Yes, I'm looking forward to it because it's an ambulance match, and I think it'll be good because it's an ambulance match. But this feud has been the most overbooked feud I think in WWE history. They had an okay match at Survivor Series, actually quite a good match at Survivor Series, then a match again at TLC, then another match on Raw, and tribute to the troops. It's been overdone. Every match has been extreme, rules type based thing. This feud has to end tonight. If it continues after tonight, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I'm going to flush myself down the toilet or actually put myself in a bloody ambulance. But Ambrose Wyatt, I think tonight it hurts Wyatt more if he loses. Ambrose doesn't need to win. I disagree with you, Harry, in respect of you saying that Ambrose needs to win. I don't think he does. I don't think it hurts Ambrose's reputation if he loses tonight. I think it's much more beneficial if Wyatt wins tonight. If, as we say, Wyatt's going to feud with Taker, which is being heavily rumoured, then you'd have to say it's Wyatt's thing. I actually think Ambrose is going to win tonight. I don't know why. I've just got this feeling. I want it to be Wyatt, but I think it'll be Ambrose. Anyway, I'll move on from that topic. I think we can all safely say none of us have particularly enjoyed the feud as it's got to its latter stage, but it is going to be a hell of a match tonight. I think we can all agree that it's going to be a good match tonight. And I hope it ends the show. It'd be stupid if it didn't. Quick mention on the whole Reigns Big Show rivalry. Is anybody particularly excited about this rivalry? Because I'm really not. Lyle?
No, it's a waste of both of them.
Big Show hasn't performed well since 2005.
He's just so he's so slow in the ring, and that's one of the things. You never watch Big Show and think, oh my god, what an absolutely unbelievable match that was. Not for the last few years. I haven't watched a Big Show match and come out of it and thought that was brilliant, apart from when the ring bloody collapsed with Mark Henry and the Big Show. But that match up until that point was absolutely crap. It was only because the ring bloody collapsed it was actually interesting. So yeah, this whole rivalry is to make Roman Reigns look strong, isn't it? It's to build Roman Reigns up. I think everybody would agree with that. We all know who's going to win the feud. It's obviously going to be Reigns. I'd be shocked if it isn't. We mentioned it just before. What on earth is this crap about them putting announce tables on top of each other? Does anybody have a logical explanation as to why they are putting announce tables that weigh as much as this pen that I'm holding onto each other? And claiming, like Michael Cole, I think it was it last week or the week before, going, oh, he's seriously hurt. Reigns is seriously hurt. I mean, it's just pathetic. No one's falling for that crap.
No, it is just to make the rivalry that bit more believable, I think.
Lyle, any thoughts?
The rivalry's not going to be good.
It could just be the last possible thing that they have going for them. Because if you get, I don't know, because they don't. Do they not want to use any other weapons? Because I would much rather they used some other things than a bloody announce.
Or stick them through the announce table. Don't chuck the announce table on them. Put them through it. The way to make Roman Reigns look big, the way to make Roman Reigns look strong, is bloody Spear and Big Show through the announce table. That'll make Roman Reigns look strong.
That's true.
Not bloody picking a stupid announce table up and throwing it on it. I'm really not into this rivalry. I'm not sure about both of their wrestling abilities, to be honest. Reigns has got potential, but he's being thrown down our throats. And he is the favourite with the bookies to win the Royal Rumble. I think now that Bryan's returned, it's put a spanner in the works as to, I think most people are a bit split as to who they think is going to win the Rumble. We've got to talk about it. Who is the 2015 Royal Rumble winner, in your opinion? We'll start with Lyle, we'll go Alex, then we'll go Harry. And this is not what you want, this is what you think. Lyle.
Can you come back to me? Just
Because you want to steal someone else, alright. Alex, we'll go with you.
I think the winner is either going to be last year or the next or couple years ahead.
Right.
So I don't think it'll be Reigns. I think it's going to be Seth Rollins.
Really? Even though he's Money in the Bank?
Pardon?
Even though he's a Money in the Bank holder?
I think that'll do it. I think they'll send him to WrestleMania by winning the Royal Rumble, and then I think he'll lose a match against whoever's whatever champion. And then I think at the end, the Authority will come out, attack the opponent, then he'll cash it in.
That's a bizarre idea, but it's more creative than the WWE have been in 5 years. So it would be I'd be surprised if we saw that, because it would actually mean that they have to be a little bit creative and use their brain. But I'd actually mind that idea. However, I can't see the WWE making Rollins the Rumble winner while he's got the briefcase. I'd be surprised if they'd done that. But there's your prediction. At the moment, Alex seems to think that Seth Rollins is going to win the Royal Rumble. Make sure you leave it down in the comments below, lads, who you think is going to win the Royal Rumble. We'll move on to Harry.
I've got my final 5 pulled up.
Jesus Christ, here we go.
Right, okay, we're going to have Roman Reigns as the winner.
Yeah.
Last to be eliminated will be Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
And then the last ones will be Sheamus, Randy Orton,
What was Harry froze?
Ryback. Yeah.
Randy Orton and then Ryback, do you say, as the last two?
Randy Orton or Dean Ambrose or Ryback.
Right. So you think Reigns is going to win it, though?
Yeah, Reigns will win it, because that's just the way it's
From what you're saying there, if WWE, and I can see him doing it, put Bryan and Reigns as the last two, and made Roman Reigns that Rumble, someone is going to jump over that barrier. I swear to God, someone's going to jump over that barrier, because you thought last year's Rumble was bad when Batista won it. That would be more extreme, because there ain't many people that want Reigns to win it, because I think most people know Roman Reigns is not ready for the main event of WrestleMania yet, and he's not going to be ready in 3 months. As Alex said, in a couple of years' time, next year, maybe the year after, maybe, but he ain't ready this year. And out of all 3 of the Shield members, Ambrose and Rollins are more ready than Reigns, who is the one that's the most likely to win it. It doesn't make any sense. Again, I think Roman Reigns is going to win it. I don't think he should, as I've clearly said that. I think Sheamus will be in the final 5. I think Wyatt will be in the final 5. I think Seth Rollins will be in the final 5. And I would have thought Daniel Bryan, if I haven't already said him, will probably be in his final 5. But I do think it'll be Reigns, which I think is a terrible thing if they do that. Obviously Ziggler, none of us have mentioned Ziggler. Could he win it? Can't see it, especially when he's got the Intercontinental Championship.
He'll have a match, won't he?
Pardon?
He'll have a match.
What? At Royal Rumble?
Championship at Royal Rumble, yeah.
Against who? They haven't feuded in with anything. Rumble's only 3 weeks away. Yeah, maybe. Right, quickly, who do you want to win the Royal Rumble? We'll start with Lyle and we'll go across.
Daniel Bryan.
Alex?
Jeff Hardy.
Oh God! Did I just hear that right? Jonathan, Jeff Hardy. You heard it here first. Jeff Hardy is going to win the Royal Rumble. If he wins the Royal Rumble, Alex, I will pay for you to go to next year's Royal Rumble. And I've said that here live. If Jeff Hardy wins the Royal Rumble, or even, hell, if he even returns in the Royal Rumble, even if he's in the stadium for the Royal Rumble, I will pay for you to watch the Royal Rumble next year live from wherever the hell it is. And that's a promise.
I didn't even know that we were doing that. I thought we were doing it realistically, not
Well,
just who you want to win out of the blue.
I'm a warrior.
Right, Harry, moving on to hopefully bring us back to the norm. Who do you want to win? Dean Ambrose, yeah. I'm going to ask myself the question. Who do I want to win? I'd love Sting, but it's never going to happen, and it wouldn't make any sense. I want Daniel Bryan to win it. I'm with Lyle. I think he's got to win it this year. Again, he deserves the but I wouldn't mind seeing Randy Orton win it. I wouldn't mind Orton win it, because he deserves a WrestleMania main event moment. I know he was in the main event last year, but he didn't get that moment. But no, I think I'm going to go for Daniel Bryan to win it, and I don't know about Randy Orton. wouldn't mind if it. But if Reigns wins it, I'm not going to be particularly impressed, to be honest with you.
Could Rusev possibly do with any of it? If this Ryback thing all just blows over, do you think he could be anything to do with the Rumble?
Well, there is talk. Rusev has won the he's actually the third favourite, I believe, ahead of everybody else other than Bryan and what's his face, Reigns. So who knows with Rusev? We'll move on to that rivalry that you just mentioned on Lyle. Rusev Ryback. Where do we expect that to go tonight? Are we excited by the rivalry? Do you like Rusev? Do you like Ryback? Is this just heading to a what's it called, a Royal Rumble match, and then that being that with it, or do you think this could go a little bit further?
What I feel, Lyle, is they're going to build up Ryback so that he's going to be the first person to beat Rusev clean.
You think he'll beat Rusev clean at... Really? Wow.
Obviously they'll build up to it, but...
Lyle?
I'd love to see Rusev just get... I don't know, because then he's not really special anymore, is he? He's just the other dude who lost.
He's US champ.
But he wouldn't be. But he wouldn't be because Ryback would have won it. Because you have to say that that's going to be for the championship, surely.
But surely if he's the US champion, then they've got a feud to go with it to then go to Rumble.
Yeah,
and then Ryback will win.
So you think Ryback will win as well?
Yeah.
Really? Alex, what's your thoughts on that? And where do you think it will go to... Actually, no, we'll do that at the end. But yeah, sorry.
I think, well, I'm in total agreement. I think Ryback will win. Because Reigns couldn't beat Rusev. Thinking no one else can beat Rusev. He was beaten at Survivor Series. But so I think that Ryback will beat him, and then I think Rusev will just fade into this.
Right, we had a little bit of issues with hearing what you said there. You went silent for a bit, but you did say you thought Ryback would beat him and Rusev would fade into the sunset. Was that your exact words?
Yes.
I heard it right. Jeff Hardy's returning the Rumble, lads. Just remember that. You heard it here first. I'm going to keep going on about that from here to the Rumble. My opinion on the Ryback Rusev thing, I absolutely hate Rusev. I know it's so as a performer, not as a person in real life because I don't know him, but I really don't like him. I don't like his gimmick, really. It just pisses me off. But I think this is going to be quite a good match, you know. I don't think Ryback's going to win. Not cleanly, anyway. I think the person that's going to beat Rusev and end the winning streak is the main man of the company, John Cena. I think it's going to be... I think that John Cena's going to be the one that he faces at Mania. And I think John Cena will beat him at Mania. I can't see Ryback winning at Rumble. I think this is a good match, though. It's starting to bring back the importance of the United States Championship. Because Rusev and Ryback, we've all mentioned them as possible Royal Rumble winners. So they are pretty big-time players in the WWE, which means a common mid-card title is having actually quite an important match.
Could I just say...
Yeah.
Oh, wait, what? If John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Royal Rumble, say Brock Lesnar wins,
Yeah.
and then I'd like to see Brock Lesnar versus Rusev. Then if Rusev beats Ryback and keeps his unbeaten streak, Brock Lesnar versus Rusev.
Right.
If they can pick him up that much to be one of the biggest, but like...
Right, again, we had a little bit of... Again, you went like silent. I don't know whether it's my connection for that 2 seconds at the end there, but we did get the majority of what you're saying. We haven't really spoke too much about the big feud at the moment. The final chapter, as Mr. Sir Paul Heyman says it. I absolutely love Paul Heyman. I think he's a fantastic guy. I hope he's on Raw tonight, because any Raw Paul Heyman's on is a good Raw. I hope his client Brock Lesnar is on Raw tonight, but I don't expect him to be on Raw tonight because He was on Raw last week, and I think he'll be on the last 2 weeks of Raw. Anyway, talking about this rivalry, talking about this feud, if he isn't on Raw tonight, it's probably not going to go anywhere. They have to surely have a brawl like they did a couple of years ago, where they were knocking each other out and there was 30 people come. Something similar to that, because I don't even think they've laid hands particularly on each other, other than last week when he went for the AA and then didn't go for the AA and Brock Lesnar ran off. Something's got to happen there before the Rumble. As for the Royal Rumble, I think Brock Lesnar, I kind of hope he wins so we get Bryan Lesnar at Mania. But then again, I think Cena might win. There's always that talk about Rollins cashing in, possibly. Who knows? But it's a difficult one, really, because I don't really know if to look forward to the Rumble match or not.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Match, I think if it's none of the people we said, it'll be Cena, unfortunately.
What, they will win the Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
No, I don't think Cena will win the Rumble. I think it's more likely that Jeff Hardy returns in the Royal Rumble than John Cena to win the Rumble. And I'm going to keep going on about that point for the rest of my life. Which is brilliant. Cena, we were talking about Cena, Lesnar. I think most of us all know after WrestleMania, Lesnar's contract's up, isn't it? Isn't it the night after Mania? His contract's expired, so you have to say you don't expect him to hold the title at Mania. Perhaps I really don't know what they're going to do with the main event of Mania for one of the first times in history. I was sure it was going to be Reigns Rollins for a time, because I thought Rollins would cash in at the Rumble. Now I'm thinking it's going to be Bryan Lesnar, but who's to say Cena ain't going to walk out of Royal Rumble with the championship? Who knows? But we're going to bring this review, a preview even, towards an end. I don't know whether you lot want to do a review to Raw tomorrow night. We'll have to wait and see. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Tonight, the big things to expect. The big things, the big talking points heading into the night. What is going to happen with the Authority? Who's going to win the Ambrose Wyatt ambulance match? There's a lot to look forward to on this Raw. I think it's going to be a good Raw. Will Randy Orton return? Leave your thoughts on what you think is going to happen on WWE Raw. I'm contemplating whether to watch it live. What is it? 1, isn't it, in the UK? Means we've got school tomorrow, so it's a debate. Thanks to all 3 of you for joining me. I hope you get you back on another sort of, as I say, possibly the review, etc. I don't know whether to do a SmackDown review or not, because SmackDown's pretty poor, but I think we'll do a review. I don't think I'll be doing previews to SmackDown, just because, well, there ain't really a lot to preview. But yeah, that's basically it for today's preview. If you have enjoyed it, please like. I hope I've got you in the mood, and we've helped get you in the mood for Raw tonight. And yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens. Make sure you leave any responses, what you think's going to happen on Raw, anything that we spoke about, leave them down in the comments below. And other than that, enjoy your day. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.